In this lab, I'll show you how to configure firewall policies on a Juniper SRX appliance. We'll see how to configure the policy, how to check which traffic is flowing on the SRX, and we will see the policy statistics. So we have three devices. We have one SRX, we have Ubuntu 2, which is in the inside zone, and we have Ubuntu 1, which is in outside zone. Ubuntu 1 will get an IP address of 10.10.10.2/24, and SRX on the outside interface will get the IP address of 10.10.10.1/24, and the same for this side. The SRX will get 192.168.1.1, and Ubuntu 2 will get 192.168.1.2. Me also view the interface labels. So G001 is the outside interface and G001 is the inside interface. Let's log into the SRX. So you should show configuration. Display set. We will delete all the security related configuration. And we'll start with the basics. Set system root authentication plain text password. We'll enter our password. And set system host name SRX1. Let's commit it. The Ubuntu machines are already configured. Ubuntu 1, the interface connecting the SRX is ENS3, and this is the IP address which is configured on it. And this is the routing table of the Ubuntu machine. The same for this one. I have the routing table, the default route which will go to SRX, and the ENS3 interface which is connecting to G001 on the SRX. So before we start, we'll need to define security zones. Or better, let's start with the interface. Set interface is G000.0 family inet address 10.10.10.1/24 and interface set interface G1.0 family inet address 192.168.1.1/24. Now that we have our interfaces, we can go ahead and configure security zones. So to do that, we'll issue set security zones, security zone outside interface G0.0. Actually, we'll go ahead and run set CLI screen width. We'll go with 500. And let's add G001 interface in the inside security zone. So set security zone inside interface G001.0, and let's go ahead and commit this. So let's check our routing table, and we have the IP addresses from both interfaces added to the routing table. Let's go ahead and ping 10.10.10.2. So the ping is working, and if we ping Ubuntu 2, which has the IP address of 192.168.1.2. This one is also working. Great news. But what if we go to Ubuntu 1 and we'll try to ping 10.10.10.1. I will start a packet sniffer here. And I will issue the ping. See, the ping packets will go to the device, but nothing will happen. But as you can see, the Ubuntu one is learning the MAC address from the SRX one, so it should be something on the SRX. If you go here and issue run show security flow session, source prefix, it's 10.10.10.0/24, we will not see anything. And the reason why we cannot see anything, we'll leave this ping running. If we'll check our show security zones configuration, we have added the interfaces in the security zones. But what we didn't do is we didn't enable any services in the security zone. So for example, if I'll do set security zone outside, host inbound traffic, system services, let's see that I want to enable the ping and commit. What will happen is that our device will start to respond to the ping packets. The file should show security flow session destination prefix. I can see the flow. I can see the packets are entering on G00 interface and are destined to the local interface. Sorry, they are entering the G00 interface, and the response is sent from the local interface to the outside machine, which is Ubuntu one. Let's stop this ping and let's try to SSH into the SRX. We should go SSH root at 10.10.10.1. Again, nothing is happening. Show display set. Let me enable SSH first. And I see that it is enabled. But I need to also enable root login allow and commit it. So far nothing is happening. Let's check show security zones, display set, and I can see that I have enabled only ping. But in order to allow SSH, I will need to explicitly allow it here. Let's commit. And let's issue SSH again. And we can see that SSH is working. Go yes, I'll add the password, and I'm logged into the SRX from Ubuntu one. Go ahead and exit, and we'll remove SSH from here because it's a security breach and we don't want to allow SSH from a external interface. Also, if you check the system services list, we can see that we have lots of services which we can enable for the security zone. And if you want, we can just enable them all, and traffic will go here unrestricted. Let's check our route, and we can see that the SRX knows how to reach any direction. It knows how to reach Ubuntu 1, it knows how to reach Ubuntu 2, so we can assume that if I'll ping Ubuntu 2, 192.168.2.1.2, we can assume that it will work, and we can check if any traffic is received on the SRX also. Destination prefix 192.168.1.2, and nothing is received, although we know that the ping packets are coming from Ubuntu 1. No response found will be the response. So to fix this, we will need to add security policies, because no traffic on SRX will flow unrestricted. We can start by adding the addresses in address books. So set security zone outside address book address Ubuntu 1 10.10.10.2/32. We can add a single address in the security zone, and we can add also Ubuntu 2 in the inside security zone address book address Ubuntu 2 with address 192.168.1.2/32. /32 means that only the access to this IP address alone is permitted. Let's commit the address book, and now let's create some applications. For example, I want this Ubuntu server to be able to SSH, ping, and access web pages from this device. And I also want to allow a non-standard port of 500, the non-standard port of 5555. For SSH and HTTPS and ping, we have Junos defined applications, but for port 5555 we'll have to define our own application. So set applications application 555. We define protocol, and I want it to be TCP, and destination port to be 5555. Now that we have our application and we have addresses in address book, we can go ahead and let's commit this and configure the policy. So to do that, we'll issue set security policies from zone outside to zone inside, policy out to in. We'll go with match condition, and we'll match for the source address, and you can see that we can issue any IPv4, any IPv6, and we can issue for this zone only Ubuntu 1, because when creating a policy, you will match the source address, and the source address must be in the zone outside, because you are creating the policy from zone outside to zone inside. So we'll have to use Ubuntu 1. It's our only option. Okay, so match source address, match destination address. Here we can use Ubuntu 2, match application, and here we can use either Juniper default policies, which is this big list here, or I can also add my own defined policies. In this case, I will application 555, and I want to add Junos ping, Junos SSH, and Junos HTTPS. Now that I have added the match conditions, I can configure then statements. So I can choose the outcome of this policy, and I can choose permit, reject, deny. So I'll go ahead and issue permit, and after that I will enable log session init. I want to see how many times the session was accessed, and count, because I want to see the statistics. I'll go ahead and commit this, and let's check the configuration. So this is our new policy. Now, since the policy is enabled, I will go ahead and do a quick capture here, run show security flow session destination prefix 192.168.1.2, and I will refresh every 5 seconds. Now I can go ahead and ping Ubuntu 2 from Ubuntu 1. And you can see the ping is working, and I can also see the sessions. And note that we have our policy defined only from outside to inside zone, and the traffic is still flowing both ways. As I said in the lecture, the SRX is a stateful firewall, and being a stateful firewall, it will enable the return traffic automatically. If, for example, I want to ping Ubuntu 1 from Ubuntu 2, 10.10.10.2, nothing will happen because the traffic will be initiated only from outside to inside and not the other way around. Also, the ping is working. Let me test also SSH Ubuntu at 192.168.1.2. And let me leave this here, see what happens. As you can see, my packet is working, my policy is working, and I am sending a traffic to port 22 for the Ubuntu 2 machine. And as you can see, I can access Ubuntu if I will enter the password correctly, of course. And here we are on Ubuntu 2 from Ubuntu 1. Also, I can test if Ubuntu 2 will receive HTTPS traffic by typing telnet 192.168.1.2 port 443. And I will get connection refused, but if I'll check here, I can see that I am sending traffic. I'm sending one packet, and I'm receiving a response, also one packet. Okay, so we created a policy. Let's see that statistic. Run show security policies from zone outside to zone inside. Policy name out in detail. So we can see a bunch of statistics. We can see the source addresses which are permitted, the destination addresses which are permitted, the source port which is permitted, and the destination port which is permitted for each application that we enter. You can see some statistics here, and you can see how many times the policy was accessed, or how many times this policy was looked up. If I issue another connection, I will check. I'll have 22 policy lookups. So it will increment each time this policy will be looked up, or each time this policy will be used. Also, let's say that inside my network I added a new virtual PC and I want to connect it to my inside network. And this PC will have an IP address of 172.1.1.1.2/24, and let's do some configuration here. Set interfaces G002.0 family mainnet address 172.1.1.1/24. We'll have to add this interface into the inside security zone. So set security zones, security zone inside interface GE002. And let's commit. Actually, I will add GE002.0 and I will commit. And I would like to ping PC1 from Ubuntu 2. So I will should ping 172.1.1.2. And nothing will happen. And if I go here on show security flow session destination prefix 172.1.1.2, I also cannot see any traffic. But I can easily ping it from the SRX.1.1.2. The reason why this is happening is that we have only this policy here. And let's say that if we have multiple interfaces inside the security zone, we'll need to have also a policy which will allow traffic intra-security zone. So I will set security policies from zone inside to zone inside, policy in match source address. We'll use Ubuntu 1, Ubuntu 2, sorry. We'll use the destination address. I will use any. We'll add the application. We'll add Junos ping and then permit, and let's commit this. Let's see if our ping will work. Okay, the ping is working now, which is good. But if I go to see the policy options, run show security policies from zone inside to zone inside, policy name in detail, I cannot see much details because I didn't add the log session in it and the count option. So it will be a policy without any statistics. And this is, guys, how you configure a policy on an SRX device. It's nothing too overcomplicated. It's I think it is pretty intuitive, and I like SRX firewall because they are so easy to troubleshoot, and mostly it is because this command shows security. Close session will show all active sessions on the firewall, and you can ping, you can filter them, you can see whatever you want. It's a great tool, and I love SRX devices only because of this. So thank you for attending this lab. I hope it was helpful, and I see you in other labs. Bye.